Welcome to English Podcast. Subscribe our channel for more update.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take sources you send our way and, well, really dig into them to pull out the key insights.
That's right. Get straight to the good stuff.
Exactly. And today we're tackling something I think a lot of people grapple with, learning English while you're already juggling a job, life, everything else.
Yeah, it's a common challenge. And our source material today comes from the English Talk Time podcast.
Right, specifically excerpts featuring a listener named Mark.
Yeah, Mark. He's a 29-year-old guy from Germany, living near Munich, works in customer support, and he shared his whole journey learning English while working full-time with the host, Anna.
It sounds like a really relatable situation.
Oh, definitely. It's a great case study, really, for anyone trying to learn anything new when life's already pretty packed.
Absolutely. So our mission here isn't just to retell his story. We want to, unpack the actual strategies he used, what worked, what didn't.
To understand the hurdles he faced, the real challenges.
Yeah, and hopefully pull out some of those, aha moments that you listening might be able to use for your own learning, whatever that might be.
Okay, sounds good. Where should we start? Mark himself.
Let's do it. So who is Mark? What really got him started on, seriously learning English?
Okay, so Mark, 29, near Munich. He's been really focusing on English for about 2 years now.
2 years, okay.
And the main reason, his job. He's a customer support agent, works for an international company.
Ah, okay. So English is necessary.
Pretty much essential, yeah. He's dealing with international customers all the time, and many prefer English. So it's less of a hobby, more of a daily requirement for him.
Right. That's a strong motivator right there.
It really is. But he also mentioned future stuff, traveling more, maybe even working overseas someday.
So it's a mix of immediate need and future aspiration.
Exactly. A powerful combination really keeps him going.
That makes a lot of sense when it's tied to something real, something tangible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's picture his day. How does he actually fit learning into his life? What's his routine like?
Well, he usually gets up around 7 a.m. Quick shower, breakfast. He mentioned toast with peanut butter and coffee. Pretty standard.
Relatable.
Yeah. Then starts work about 8:30. And interestingly, he mostly works from home.
Oh, okay. That probably helps with time.
He said it definitely does. Saves a lot on commuting. He does go into the office maybe once or twice a week.
Best of both worlds, maybe.
Kind of. He did say he misses the, chatting with colleagues sometimes, the social side. But the time saving is huge.
I bet. And his actual work involves using English.
Oh, yeah. Answering emails, sorting out technical problems, and talking directly to customers. Phone calls, live chat.
Wow, so he's using it actively, under pressure sometimes, I imagine.
For sure. It really highlights how English isn't just theory for him. It's a practical tool he needs constantly.
So that daily use, even just for work, must be a form of practice in itself.
Absolutely. Constant low-level immersion, you could say.
Okay, so let's dig into the specific learning methods. How did he start, and how has that changed?
Well, initially, he did what a lot of people do. Started with language apps.
Like Duolingo, those kinds of things?
Exactly. He mentioned Duolingo, good for basics, vocabulary, getting started.
Yeah.
But he pretty quickly realized he needed, more real-world stuff.
Right. Exposure to how people actually speak.
Yeah. So he shifted towards things like listening to podcasts, including English Talk Time itself, actually.
Nice bit of meta learning there.
Yeah. And watching YouTube videos, reading books in English, and now his main focus seems to be actually speaking with language partners online.
Okay, so a definite shift from passive input like apps to more active engagement and output.
Precisely. It's a pretty common path for learners who really want to get fluent, moving beyond just understanding to actually producing the language.
That makes sense. You start with the building blocks, then you have to actually build something.
Yeah.
And it's reading. You mentioned books.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. He started simple kids' books, easy novels.
Smart. Build confidence.
Right. Then moved up to young adult fiction. And when Anna spoke to him, He was apparently reading Harry Potter in English.
Oh, wow, okay. That's the step up. Shows real progress in comprehension.
Definitely. It shows he's not afraid to, increase the difficulty gradually. Very strategic.
But you mentioned his current focus is speaking, and he said that's his biggest challenge.
Yeah, that came through loud and clear. Even though his understanding, listening, and reading is pretty good, speaking is where he feels the struggle.
What kind of struggle? Like finding words, grammar?
All of the above, really. He talked about feeling nervous, words just disappearing when he needs them, worrying about grammar mistakes.
Oh man, I think everyone learning a language knows that feeling. It's so common.
Totally. It's important to normalize that, I think. Even someone using English at work feels that pressure.
So what's his strategy? How's he tackling the speaking hurdle?
Practice, basically. Consistent practice. He tries to have speaking sessions about 30 minutes long, at least 3 times a week.
With these language partners online.
Exactly. Using some kind of app or platform to connect with other learners or native speakers, just forcing himself to do it.
That takes dedication. Facing the thing that makes you nervous head on.
It really does. But it's often the only way to really improve that specific skill.
Okay, so practice is key. But finding the time, that's the other big thing for people working full time. How does Mark actually manage it?
He's pretty clever about it. He carves out time, mostly in the evenings, maybe 20, 30 minutes for focused study.
Okay, manageable chunks.
Yeah, and he uses his lunch break sometimes, too.
Smart, using those built-in pauses in the day.
Right. Plus, he's big on multitasking, but in a useful way.
Like what?
Listening to English podcasts, maybe while he's cooking dinner or cleaning the house, stuff like that.
Integrating it into other activities. Passive listening, almost.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps the language around him, even when he can't sit down and actively study. These are really practical tips, I think.
Definitely. It shows you don't always need huge blocks of time. Little bits here and there add up.
Absolutely. It's more about making it part of the routine, finding those pockets, consistency over, marathon sessions once a week.
Right. Makes sense. Now, even with good strategies, motivation can dip, right? We all have off days. How does Mark deal with that? Feeling tired, not wanting to study?
Yeah, he admitted that happens. He gets tired, loses motivation sometimes.
So what does he do?
He tries to consciously bring his goals back to mind.
The travel, the working abroad possibilities?
Exactly. Those bigger picture reasons why he's putting in the effort. He says that helps pull him through the slumps.
Using the why to power through the how.
Pretty much. And he also just accepts it, He recognizes that having good days and bad days is just normal, part of learning anything.
That's such an important point. Self-compassion almost. It's okay not to be 100% motivated all the time.
Absolutely. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just get back to it when you can. The long-term goals keep you anchored.
Okay, speaking of goals, what are his specific targets now? And how does he know if he's actually, getting better?
Good question. His main goal currently is hitting a B2 level in English.
B2. That's like upper intermediate on that European scale, right?
Yeah.
Comfortable conversation, understanding main ideas.
Yeah, that's a good summary. Independent user. And within that, he's focusing specifically on speaking more naturally, more fluently.
The big challenge area.
Exactly. And also improving his writing, especially for work emails, making them more professional, more effective.
Practical goals tied to his needs. Makes sense. Any thoughts of exams?
He mentioned he's considering it, maybe taking an official test like TOEFL or IELTS down the line.
As a way to kind of benchmark his level?
Yeah, and maybe for future work or study options too. But for tracking progress now, he does a couple of things.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
He records himself speaking.
Oh, interesting. Cringy, maybe, but useful.
Probably. But he does it about once a month, apparently, just to listen back and hear the changes.
That's brave and smart.
And he also looks back at his written stuff, like emails or texts he's written over time, to see how his writing has developed.
Those are really concrete ways to see improvement. It's not just a feeling. You can actually hear or see the difference. That must be motivating.
Yeah. Tangible proof you're moving forward. Super important.
Now, the podcast included a role play, right? between Mark and Anna pretending to be colleagues.
It did, yeah. A little small talk scenario.
What did you take away from that? Did it feel natural?
It really did, actually. It was a good example of just normal workplace chat. You know, how long have you worked here? No, what do you do exactly? Do you like it? Basic stuff.
The kind of interaction you have dozens of times.
Exactly. And it flowed well. They even got to the point of suggesting grabbing lunch sometime.
So it showed him navigating that kind of everyday social interaction pretty comfortably.
Yeah, it demonstrated that practical communication skill, not just abstract knowledge. Building that connection, which is often what small talk is for.
Good point. It's not just about conveying information, but also social bonding. Okay, they also highlighted some specific vocabulary words. Why focus on those?
Well, words like motivation, multitasking, language partner, progress, challenge. These aren't just random words.
No, they're central to his whole story, right?
Exactly. They're the concepts that define the experience of learning while juggling life. So explaining them briefly in the context of his journey makes them stickier, more meaningful for the listener.
Grounds the ideas in reality.
Right. Instead of just abstract definitions, you see how challenge applies to his speaking anxiety or how multitasking fits into his study routine. Makes it more practical.
Gotcha. And finally, Mark offered some advice himself to other learners. What were his main points?
It was really encouraging, actually. Very down to earth.
Like what?
Basically, don't worry so much about mistakes. Everyone makes them. It's part of it.
Okay, permission to be imperfect.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah. And practice every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Consistency is key.
The small steps adding up again.
Definitely. Also, immerse yourself. Watch movies, read books, listen to music in English.
Make it part of your entertainment.
Right. And crucially, talk to people. Find ways to actually use the language. Don't just study it in isolation.
Solid advice. Practical and encouraging. It's about the journey, step by step.
Exactly. No magic bullets, just persistence and engagement.
So, if we were to boil down Mark's journey into key takeaways, what stands out most?
Well, definitely the importance of knowing your why, having clear motivation. That seems crucial.
Yeah, that came through strongly.
Then finding ways to weave learning into your actual daily life, not treating it as some separate, burdensome task.
And the multitasking, the lunch break.
Right. Also, being flexible with how you learn, starting with apps, moving to immersion, focusing on speaking practice, adapting your methods.
And actively tackling the hard parts, like speaking, even when it's uncomfortable.
Can't avoid the challenges. And setting concrete goals, tracking your progress somehow, that helps maintain momentum.
Plus that whole mindset piece, accepting mistakes, being patient.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as they say.
So Mark's story really gives a practical roadmap, doesn't it? Consistency, active practice, clear goals, and a healthy dose of realism about the process.
I think so. And his advice about just doing something every day, engaging with the language however you can, it's really empowering. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. So for everyone listening, maybe take a second to think about Mark's approach. Are there any strategies there, any mindsets that resonate with you?
Yeah, how could you maybe adapt some of his ideas to your own goals, whether it's learning a language or picking up any new skill while life keeps happening around you?
It really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole idea of continuous learning in today's world.
It does. With work and communication becoming so global, the ability to learn, adapt, pick up new skills like a language, it feels less like a bonus and more like, essential.
That's a really interesting point. It leads to a final thought, perhaps. What's one seemingly small change you could make to your daily routine, starting today, that could build steady momentum towards one of your own long-term goals?
Just one small thing. What could it be?